What's up, bikers? Episode 182, getting off to a slow start today. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, gonna be quick because Josh has a short amount of time today, and apparently I'm not helping anything by starting a little later. So anyways, those of you guys that don't know, the bike brand called Fazari is now called Ari. And they're sponsoring me this year, which is really rad. I'm super stoked about that. So if you're thinking about getting a new bike, I'm going to be riding the Delano Peak this year. It's a 150, 130, and I'm pretty stoked about it. It's I haven't had a shorter travel bike in a while, so it's going to be nice to be able to go lay down the power on that. But before I start riding that, I actually bought one of their hardtails just recently, and I'll be building that up on the channel. So if you're thinking about getting something new, if you're thinking about getting a hardtail, that thing's like I barely paid $1,000 for it, so it's a pretty good deal. Anyway, swing by Ari, check it out, aribikes.com. And if you're into looking for some new gear to wear, also another sponsor of the show is Tasco MTB. And if you watch my last video on the biker channel, I was talking about their jerseys and how how I looked like a stuffed sausage. But now that I've lost some weight, they're actually fit. So, and you might be thinking, come on now, it's starting to get warm out. What do I need a long sleeve for? These things have they have a lot of little tiny holes in them. That's the best way I can explain it. So they're really breathable. And this time of year when there's poison oak everywhere, it's nice to have your arms covered up. So if you're thinking about picking up a new jersey, swing by Tasco and use code B1KER and you'll save some money. So, alrighty, let's go ahead and bring Josh on and let's talk about YouTube. What's up, dude?
Dude, good to see you. YouTube, Tasco, Ari, man, you're on a full 29er. Everything's changed.
Right? What's this world coming to?
So good to see you, man. Good to be back on.
Yeah, you too, man. I was writing the show notes and I was like, I don't even know where to start with this guy. I started thinking to myself, I wonder how many people that have just recently got into maybe this podcast or MTB, YouTube MTB, and they might not even know your channel. Do you still see a lot of views and stuff like that coming up? Or
oh yeah, still tons of views still, and kickback still from YouTube, or monetization, ad revenue. Some of my videos are just so clickbaity that they just suck people in as soon as they get into mountain biking, and they're like, who's this guy? And then they go to recent videos and they're like, I guess he died. I don't know.
That's crazy. So do you go and comment, respond to comments at all anymore, or you kind of just completely step away from it?
No, I don't look at anything on it. I still watch YouTube, but no, I don't. I haven't. I think about making videos every now and then, and with all the e-bikes that still come to my door, it's like, I got to make some videos about these sometime again.
you got a whole fleet of e-bikes now, 95 of them or something.
Oh, dude, I always have 0. Whenever I get them, I take a couple pictures, take a couple videos, just dump them instantly. Everybody knows if they need an e-bike, they hit me up, and people have bought them in the past. Are like, hey, if you get another one, let me know. So I don't even have to post e-bikes. I just text people now. I'm like, hey, I got another one. They're like, great.
I was thinking, what made you want to start the YouTube channel originally?
Dude, such a good question. I started in 2017 in gosh, yeah, I think it was 2017. I had injured myself on there was a pump track, and it was after a ride, and me and my friend were dinking around, and I didn't even do anything cool. I just went over the bars, missed a bump. I separated my AC joint up here, broke my left wrist. So you can imagine I'm walking around like this, can't wipe my butt. And a friend of mine is like, yeah, I got a GoPro and I'm thinking about recording the trails here in Bellingham. And I was like, wait, he's my friend Matt. He totally knows the story and laughs every time because he's not YouTube personality. And I was like, wait, if Matt's going to do it, I'd be way better at that. I got to jump on this. So I like started researching, got my gear, and I was like, I am going to make videos to help people like me who were complete idiots. Cause I really only got into mountain biking 2 years before that. And I still, like, you watch some of my videos, I had no idea what I was talking about. And I was like, but I know enough. And I think I got this YouTube game down. So I'm going to basically throw in my hat to the scene and see what I can do with it. And I entered at not the perfect time, but at a very good time.
Yeah. I mean, that's right around the same time that I started as well. So I think that's like, BKXE kind of probably about the year before. And then between him and Alex and Seth, they kind of really started opening up the doors for a lot of people. What was your aspiration like when you started the channel? Like, what were you like? I just want to get famous, or you're like, I want to get free stuff, or like, what were you thinking?
It sounds like corny, but Robert knows me well enough to know this is just true. I just wanted more riding friends. I wanted more people to ride with. And I thought, how cool would it be if I get like, 10,000 subscribers, make some money on the side to fund my addiction to mountain biking. And then I'll always have somebody to ride with. And that turned out to be very true.
Very true, right?
Yeah. So really, I knew people were making money on YouTube, and I told my wife, and like to this day, we joke about it because every month I get a check from YouTube, and I told her, I was like, one day I'm going to make so much money on this, and all this equipment I just bought and this new bike that I totally need is going to be all worth it because I'm going to make millions. And we don't make millions. Don't worry. Colorado Kid, Joe, and others make millions, but not me. And in time it grew and started actually making money. And my wife was like, "Oh, I thought you were joking." I was like, "Well, I was, because most people don't make it." Yeah. So really, I mean, I never really wanted to go full time. I did consider it I considered it for a while. And that dream is now, it's never been a dream. It's been a consideration, and I don't consider it anymore. And so yeah, I never started out wanting to do it full time. It was just something I love to do. I still love making videos, still love interacting with people. I still get noticed, but it was just always something fun to do. But when I started, man, I went hard. I went 2 videos a week for a year, and I remember I would like force myself to make content because I heard somebody say, if you want to grow, consistency, and you got to put out new content. And I was like, cool, I'll force myself to do it. And they said, if you want to get good at video making, make 50 videos. And after that, you'll feel somewhat inadequate but be doing a lot better.
Do you feel like that was good advice?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny, man. We love like people who go viral. But there's something interesting. It's like a one-hit wonder in a band. A good band can make a hit. A good person can make a viral video. But to be known and be a figure, the only thing that you can do is just keep at it nonstop. And so I do believe if you want to become great at something, start, continue, and after a few years, see if you have anything worth doing with it. Like I don't know, think about a trade. Think about being a plumber or an HVAC technician or a carpenter or like anything that's like an actual skill, not like fake skills like IT. No, just kidding. Like IT too. Everybody knows everything from the get-go, but it's only after how many years that you actually know, can I do it? And am I good at it? And so I believe it was great advice.
Yeah. I mean, your channel started picking up speed pretty quick too. So do you think that, like any of that was luck, or do you feel like it was just like because of you were cranking out like content, or what do you think made that happen?
Yeah, I think anybody who says there isn't an element of luck is lying. I really do believe the first or best principle. If you're the first to the scene, you're gonna grow like gangbusters, or eventually, or you're going to be the most dominant, or if you're the best. So if you come on the scene and you make the best content consistently in the latest platforms that people are watching, those two things are what cause you to grow with a lot of luck. And so someone like normal mountain bike rider, Sebastian, or Colorado kid, struck when the iron was hot for TikTok and helped him grow tremendously in shorts. Seth started making hack videos and mountain bike videos right as mountain biking was getting truly refined. And that's a really important concept to understand too, is the mountain bikes of 2017 have very little differences to mountain bikes today. And they just finished being refined, and people were looking for content to like how to upgrade an old bike to be a 1x drivetrain, decent suspension, 29ers actually became good, all that. So I think that timing was good. YouTube was really coming into its own at that point. So I do believe I lucked out on the timing, and I just struck while the iron was hot. I did put a lot of work in. And I think my personality is one. I've naturally always been quick to make friends. I love people and interacting with people. And I think that personality helped a lot too.
Yeah. I think you're really good at coming up with videos that will do well though. I know you've mentioned Joe a few times. He's there in the comments, and like he also does the same thing, like just constantly coming up with ideas of skits and like, oh, that would be good, that would be funny. And I just remember in some of our conversations in the past, like you would just I don't know, it just seemed to me, it was like, man, how's he coming up with these ideas all the time? It's just like, I don't know, what do you think was like your creative like force there?
Dude, I always tell people, like, just make what you would consume. And there was so much mountain bike content that I wish was out there that I didn't know. And so if you're providing a tangible need for others in something that you've had a need for, people will click on it. Or if you just relate so closely and hit home so well, then people are going to love it. And so for me, that's always what I've done. Like if you told me, Josh, you have to go make 10 YouTube videos about it, like on your mountain bike channel, and come back, like have a resurgence. It's like, well, the mountain bike market is absolutely in the tanks. So talk about that. Bike technology has not advanced like hardly at all in the last 7 years. Talk about that. Gosh, what else? People love short forms. Like, so it's like, I think I am gifted to like relate to people where they're at and think about what do I want to consume. And with mountain biking content, here's the interesting thing. If you look at what really, we all follow different areas of content. And like the one thing about mountain biking is like places to ride has been pretty cataloged. How to upgrade your bike. Oh, nice thumbs up. How to upgrade your bike or do other things has been cataloged. But you have to think about refining what hasn't been documented that people aren't still laughing at or want to know more information at. And that's where you have to strike. And with mountain biking, it's a tough venture.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the podcast, like a lot of my regular content, I make geographically relevant content is what I like, how I like to say it, like, and I'm okay with that, like there's a lot of people around here that want to see these trails that are around where I'm at, you know what I mean? And maybe the way that I make the story isn't necessarily as consumable for people that aren't from this area, but I don't really care.
Yeah. And if you love what you make, then it'll go off. And like, for instance, I'll never forget seeing my first mini truck. My parents were building a house in a development like 15 minutes away. And when we were checking it out as it was getting built, I saw this blue Honda Acti mini truck. And I was like, I want that. And I was like, I wonder how much those cost. And I went and talked to the guy. He's like, they're $4,000. I was like, what? And I was like, I've never seen one of those. And so I was like, I'm going to buy one and write it off on my taxes and make a video about it. And, but I knew it was like, I saw it. I was like, that's interesting. I love that. And I knew anybody who sees this truck who's not from Japan will be like, what in the world is that? And so I did it and I made a video on it, and I just was me through it, and people loved it. And so that content is, you're right, not geographically specific, but if you make geographically specific content, you'll also be loved in your community and people will engage in it. For instance, if you make a video called being a mountain biker sucks in Sacramento, like why? Well, because you have to drive an hour and the trails are
Yeah.
great where you have to drive, but if you're not committed, you're not going to be good at it. Right.
Yeah.
And so even to tell people straight up, if you don't have this amount of time, you're probably not going to be into mountain biking that much. And
Yeah.
that's good content, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to keep notes. I'll have to watch this later and keep dishing them out, and everybody will be like, man, that's weird. Robert made every video that Josh said. Yeah. No, it's interesting though, the way that that you come up with that stuff. I think that actually I'm gonna pivot a little bit. So as you were starting to build your channel and it was growing, were you thinking that that's like kind of whenever like the carrot was like dangling and you were kind of like, maybe I should do this like full time? Like what point where it was that like starting to feel like, man, was it like you had a video that went viral or something, or?
No, I don't think I had a video that went viral. I did have a couple. It's like a gambling addiction. It's like if you hit it big, then you want to hit that again. I went and got a Dick's Sporting Goods bike and took it on the black jump line here in town, and that video went off. It was kind of a whole series.
Yeah, because I think you also like paid for the warranty or whatever, and like took it back all beat up or something like that.
No, it wasn't beat up. It literally crapped out on me. And now, sorry, it was beat up. That was my fault. And I like put it to the test. But yeah, and what happened was Paul the punter was like, hey, I'm starting this conglomerate of a couple of mountain bike YouTubers who really are growing fast and helping pair sponsorships and paid sponsorships. And he was like, I think me and Bobo were like the two smallest creators out of the rest of them. Seth was one of them. Eric BCPOV was one of them. I'm trying to think who else. And I feel bad for not remembering. Oh, Phil, Skills with Phil. Phil Metz was one. And I was like, sure. And Paul scored me a frame sponsor and a component sponsor. And at that point, each of those sponsorships were gonna together pay more than what I made on ad revenue. And it was like not quite half my yearly income. And at that point I was like, ooh, if I wanted to, I could very easily pump videos out and make this my full-time gig. So it was that the money behind it, which got me to begin to consider, what if I did do this full-time? Yeah.
And then what made you decide not to?
Well, I mean, my job working full time, it made it really hard, the commitment of videos. And for those who don't know, I'm a pastor. At that time, I was a youth pastor, so working with middle school and high school students, and super rewarding job. It's what I feel like I'm gifted to do, and so I was feeling this great amount of success on YouTube, and knew I was good at it. And I love to do it, but there was a deeper feeling of like, not, you're going to understand, Robert, of like, I'm a monkey on a screen. Like if I teach somebody how to be the best mountain biker and have the best stuff, it doesn't change their life, right? Like it's just something fun. And I really am making content just to dance and get views. And so, that is what was, I wouldn't say eating away, but always on my mind. Along with that, I felt the pressure of providing for my sponsors and still had my day job. And I realized I have to pick, and I picked my day job because I love it.
Yeah.
My job's super hard, and I wish I would have picked YouTube sometimes. But I'm happy with where I'm at. And guys like Eric, Eric chose YouTube, and Eric killed it in different ways, BCPOV. And Bobo picked YouTube too, and he's kind of documented the struggles he's encountered as well. And do I believe I made the right choice? I think now I do, because if I was still making content this side of COVID, the bike boom, the bike crumble, YouTube long form viewership on the decline, I would have been like, yeah, I gotta maybe consider doing something else. And bike sponsorships going down the drain, all the above. But back then it was real tempting, but not tempting enough.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you think that the like the heyday of making a mountain bike YouTube channel is like kind of over and it's gonna dwindle away, or what are you thinking?
I don't think it will ever dwindle away, but I do think the heyday's gone. And
Yeah.
I believe if you don't kill it at short form content, it's hard to have a place, and you have to continually innovate, or the content you make. So mountain biking. Oh, let's set that aside. The content you make has got to get people in and loving what you're showing. And I believe new trails, updated trails don't drive the traffic that they once did. And
Mm-hmm.
so I do believe the heyday has kind of left. And so what's
Mm-hmm.
left is comedy, what's left is relatability. Um, I think even for pros, they're going to keep struggling a lot because mountain biking is fun, but there's a lot more fun things out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stories to be told, that's for sure. I mean, there's that, but yeah, I mean, there was a point in time where I feel like all I watched on YouTube was mountain bike content, and now I feel like there's not enough mountain bike content that's good enough that I want to watch. Does that make
And
sense?
why? Yeah. So Robert, dude, me and
Yeah.
you are in the same boat. I don't watch hardly any mountain bike content now.
Yeah.
There are certain videos I watch and I can,
Yeah.
and this is the type of mind I have. Every time I click them, I go, why am I watching this? And why haven't I seen other mountain bike videos?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's interesting. For me, it's definitely the stories. I really want the story, of
Mhm.
like this, like, it doesn't necessarily, like, the trail guide kind of thing doesn't really do much for me unless I'm like going somewhere, you know what I mean? Specifically, I'm like, oh, I want to see that trail. So I think there's still room for those, and those, as cameras get better, or, whatever, I think that those will have to be like updated, so you'll still see that content coming around. But I really think I don't know, at least for me, it's the stories that are driving me. You know what I mean?
well, yeah. And the other thing is like, when I started, that's when the GoPro Hero 4 Black with a gimbal that you wore was the
Yeah.
creme de la creme. And people were able to watch and experience a ride that they'd never been able to before.
Yeah.
Now that's everybody does that. Everybody can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that on my iPhone. And so that's another thing that really helped.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's interesting that you say that too, because you had to buy the GoPro and the gimbal. I feel like that was a barrier to keep people from not so many people made channels. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like it was but now that you don't have, and it seems odd to me to say this out loud, but I really feel like that was it. Like having to buy that other $200 piece of hardware was like enough of a leap where people were like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that too." You know what I mean? It was like, I'll just film it the way it is with the GoPro, and then it was like kind of shittier quality. And I think now that, like what you said, anybody can just buy the GoPro now. It's got the stabilization, it's good enough. That's like, then there's a lot of content out there that is not not as refined, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not just the GoPro, it's the iPhone too as well. Like you
Yeah.
remember packing around a DSLR or, your Sony A6600 or your 6400, whatever you had,
Yeah.
like that you used to have that. And then all of a sudden you used to have dead cats in order that your audio would be able to listen. GoPro Hero 7 comes out, changes almost everything with the hyper stabilization. The iPhone 11 comes out with a wide angle lens, so for the first time, you can just put on a microphone, turn it around, and you have the same angle as a wide angle Canon or Sony lens. And
Yeah.
so now everybody has the same advantage of quality of videos and audio that you and I used to have to pay top dollar for and refine.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like 3D printing. When 3D printing came out, it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. People were making a ton of money selling products on Amazon that were 3D printed, but now everybody can buy a 3D printer and do it themselves.
Yeah.
And so I that's why I believe the heyday of mountain bike YouTube has died, because of, and I already listed them out, but to say it succinctly, camera quality, the amount of people who can do it, bike technology. Fox just announces, here's our all new lineup of forks. And I looked at the article on Pink Bike and I thought, this is why mountain biking is dying. This is nothing new. I have no reason to buy a new Fox fork. They have not provided any benefit that they haven't before. And
Yeah.
frame design, wheel design, SRAM comes out with a new transmission, and I don't care. Nobody else cares because it's marginally better. So I feel like that's not to be a Debbie Downer, but I feel like that's the reality we're living in.
I feel like I don't know. I like the transmission, so maybe I just drank the Kool-Aid.
You did, man. And here's the thing: the 11-speed SRAM GX is just as good as the transmission. It is.
I don't think so.
It is.
I don't think so. And just this is what I'm going to say is I could get a GX Axis derailleur and I put it on a brand new build, and in 3 months of me smashing that thing off of rocks, it would not be working worth a shit. And I'd be like upset with it and irritated that it's not shifting right, or it's not like always feeling like my hanger is bent or something. Like it's always screwing around with that thing. And the transmission, I've been beating off of rocks for a year, and the only time it didn't shift correctly was my axle wasn't tight.
But here's the thing: for every person like you that can say that, 99 people don't have those issues.
Yeah.
And I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I've never had serious issues ever with any of my derailleurs, with any of my drivetrains since 11-speed one buys. And I know a slew of people like that I talk to who all agree, and they're like, but I just like the new stuff. It's a little quieter. It's a little more refined, but it's not. Do you remember two buys, dude? Do you like,
yeah.
And
I remember when one buy became a thing, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited to throw this fucking front derailleur away, because that was another one of my like every time I'd ride it, you'd get it working perfectly on the one gear, and then you'd change it to the other one, and then it'd be like, and just
Well, and then boost spacing, SBG, that's when the reduced offset forks came out. This was like, these are big stuff, the dropper post, the wireless dropper post, the wireless shifters. But now it's like, we all realize really it's been refined out enough that we know what works. And the other thing too, is like anybody with an iPhone and a GoPro 11, a Hero 7, I would stand by that, up, down, left, and right. You can make great content. And that's the difference. And they're like, making a video about the newest GoPro is, people don't care. Nobody cares about the new Osmo, DJI Osmo. They just don't, because we've seen it. It's the same old, dance and song, and it's not that much better. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. It's interesting. You don't think that like e-bikes is going to be the resurgence?
I do think that it has been, but I think it's already dwindling. And a big part of that is, one, the lower end e-bikes, they're just everywhere. They're all over Amazon. You can get them for so cheap. It's like the ones I've made videos about.
Yeah.
And
they're crap.
And here's the thing. If you want just easy content, top 5 budget hardtail mountain bikes to buy, 100,000 views guaranteed.
Yeah.
Top 5 under $1,000 e-bikes worth buying, guaranteed 100,000 views. Top 5 full suspension mountain bikes, top 5 budget real e-bike mountain bikes.
Lists? Those, you think lists are key?
Those will go off because the average person getting into it is looking at those things. But e-bikes, even now, I think the price point's still too high. The technology is still not good enough. And they drop in value unlike anything in the bike industry I've seen. And so all those things, I do think there's a room out there. And I was just watching, I just saw a thumbnail for, is it Rob's e-mountain bike channel? He's like the main e-mountain bike guy.
Okay.
and Rob rides EMTB, and
Okay.
he's great, and he makes great content about all the new e-bikes. But it's, again, there's little refinements, and so once you've watched a
Yeah.
couple, you've kind of seen where they're at.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that I was having this conversation with somebody the other day about e-bikes, and I really think that it'll change the game for a lot of people that don't have the time to put into being like fit enough to do like these big, huge, epic kind of rides, and I think because of that, it'll help a lot of people. Like there's rides that I would do that, it's like 3,500 feet of climbing, and it's at, getting way up in the elevation, so it's even harder, and some people that are riding only like once a week, that's not enough for them to be able to go and like enjoy that ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the other thing is now the investment to ride once a week is much higher, and that
Yeah,
is a big issue for a lot of people. Is in order to ride once a week, I need to spend 5 grand, or
yeah,
the cheapest used bikes are 3 grand.
yeah,
And I know a lot of spouses and people who are like, with the cost of everything going up, they can't
yeah,
justify that.
yeah.
And
It's a lot of money.
Robert, I don't know if you know, I bought an e-bike, a full-on actual mountain bike e-bike.
Oh shit, you
Yeah,
did.
and I had it for
What do
3 months and I sold it.
why'd you sell it?
Because I don't need it, because it
Yeah.
didn't change anywhere I rode, how or what I did, and
Hmm.
it was just a convenience.
Yeah. Yeah. I've recently been changing my opinion on them a little bit more. Like originally I just thought of them as like a way to not have to use shuttle trucks. And more recently I've been thinking about them more as like, hey, this is a way I can like not do a boring road ride and still go out and spin on a day when my legs are like just blasted.
Yeah,
So,
and that
and
right there, that is one of the best reasons for an e-bike I've ever heard. That.
yeah, yeah,
And I went and rode with Jill Kittner one day. She said the same thing. I'd rather do this than be on a road bike. And I was like,
yeah,
my eyes were kind of open, and I was like, oh, that makes you way better on the downhill too. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, other than that, like to me, like I ride enough that I can do those big rides. And um otherwise, I don't know. It's cool that you can do it faster too. Like for example, last weekend I went on a ride. Um you've been to UC in Santa Cruz, right?
I've never ridden there, man, which
You
is
never
so
got to
sad.
ride there? Oh yeah, yeah.
My
Yeah.
friends never brought me there when I went and visited them.
Oh, I know, right? They just took you to boring places like Downeyville. So
Yeah.
like um yeah, and then they make you climb it. Oh my god.
Still one of the best trips, dude. That was such good times.
That was really good. Yeah, we're cooking up some other stupid ideas. I'll have to let you know on.
For those of
But
you who don't know, I flew down for Robert's birthday. I flew down in order for him and his buds and me to go and pedal up Downey Hill with a gnat infested climb that took
oh, that was so bad.
hours. And it was so fun. And at the end, we looked like we just gone through war and hadn't eaten. We were so tired, but it was like the best. Such a good time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was definitely that was a mission. I kind of
Yeah.
want to do it again, just to like see if I can do it better. You know what I mean?
Dude, if you continue on and get in peak shape, dude, I'll come down and you could slay that climb guaranteed in at least a half, if not a little more of half of the time we took.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, it definitely made it less daunting after you do it the first time because it just sounds ridiculous. Because anytime that you go there, you get in this van and you ride for a shuttle, like 40 minutes up this mountain, and you're like going 50, 60 miles an hour or whatever. So you're like, so when somebody's like, hey, let's climb from town to the top, you're like, that sounds stupid. Like it's just ludicrous.
Well, was it 45 or 5,000 feet of elevation?
Something like that. Yeah, right around 5,000, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like what, like, 1,500 meters. I mean, it's serious stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it was some work that went into that one. But the climb wasn't really that bad. That was the thing that like I think whenever people like would talk to me about it in the past, I would think of this like just nasty climb that you had to do. And realistically, like the climb was pretty chill. Like it was just long. Like you
Yeah.
never got a break unless you stopped, you know?
Yeah, I have a trail that I ride that's 2,500 feet to the top, and it takes like a
Hmm.
solid hour 15 if you're going at a good clip. And
Hmm.
it's like you just have to be in the mental space. It's not that it's that hard, it's just
Yeah.
relentless of being
Yeah.
in a granny gear pedaling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely something else there.
Yeah.
So I've noticed you over the last, year or so. How long's it been since you like sort of quit? I don't know. What do you want to call it?
Oh
Quit
man, it's
YouTube.
been a while. I still make videos sometimes, but I have kind of thrown in the towel
Yeah.
more or
So that's
less.
what I was going to ask is like when I see these videos pop up, like in my mind, it's like, oh, Josh must want a new bike. So he's just going to make another viral video. So like, or like, what is it that's compelling you to like, all right, I have to say something about this. Like,
Dude, my favorite comments is it was right during was it during COVID? I built up a really nice when the Evo offering came out, the second one. I built it up. It's the
mhm,
height of COVID. And I was like, I really don't need this fancy of a bike. So I sold it, for like 6,500 bucks. And I just love the comments like, this guy, his wife told him to sell it. He's in crippling debt. He's an idiot. And so when other people are like, oh, Josh needs to make some more money. So he's posting a video again. It's like, for anybody who's curious, I'm not in crippling debt at all, or hardly any debt. I just get bored. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I make videos that I want to know, and when I find fascinating information that people aren't talking about, and I don't see videos on, I want to make a video. And
hmm,
the bike market is one that like I predicted for a long time was going to be in this slump, and it still is. So it's like dying. And I just think those videos are interesting. And people are like, "You're a sellout. You don't make any riding videos anymore." I'm like, "Well, I don't watch riding videos, and so I'm not going to make them if I don't enjoy watching them that much.
hmm,
I enjoy telling a story on an adventure, but to document that well just takes so much energy and effort, and I'm not willing to put that in right now. It's
hmm,
not an excuse, it's just the reality.
hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think that you'll ever get back into making videos again on a regular?
Yeah, I do. It's something that I love and I have a passion for. And I
Do you
really
think it?
enjoy. Go ahead.
Go no, go ahead. You really enjoy what?
I enjoy the process. I enjoy interacting with people online. I enjoy helping people solve problems or make their life more enjoyable. So there is joy in it. So yeah, I do think I will again. But
Hmm.
I kind of got a bit burnt out, and I want it. I don't just want to
Hmm.
feel like I got to do this, make people happy, which has
Yeah.
been a change for me in my life.
Hmm. You
Yeah.
think two a week was too much?
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. I think
Yeah.
one a week is a lot to
Yeah.
do it well.
Yeah. Do you think one every 2 weeks is consistent enough that you would see the growth, or do you think it needs to be weekly?
That is such a good question. Well, here's the thing. If your goal is growth, then nowadays consistency matters, but not anything like it used to. Because
Hmm.
the algorithm is all about the Mr. Beast. Good thumbnail, get them in, keep them engaged for 8 minutes to watch the whole video. I mean, for long form, that's what
Hmm.
matters more. So if it's every 2 weeks, I think that's fine. But your
Yeah.
content better be freaking lutely amazing. Like it just
Hmm.
has to be a banger every time, which is
Yeah.
in mountain biking near impossible to do. You
Yeah.
have to do some other subject. Like it's just mountain biking doesn't have the draw that driving a bus off a cliff does, or trapping somebody in a grocery store for 30 days, or
Yeah.
stupid stuff at McDonald's on TikTok. Like it just doesn't have the appeal to the average person anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you start making videos again, do you think that it's going to be mountain bike content, or do you have like aspirations to try some other kind of like genre?
Oh man, that's a good that's a good question. I don't know. Like to be honest. mountain biking in general. I love. It's just my, like you, Rob. Like it's just my passion,
Mm-hmm.
and I, I called my channel the Daily Mountain Bike Rider, and my whole
Mm-hmm.
premise was like, just ride your bike every day, because pedaling around in front of my house or up the street, every time I jump on a stupid e-bike, I'm just like, this is so much fun, and
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So, do I think it's going to be mountain biking? It's what I love, so maybe. But
Yeah.
there's a chance I jump on something that's super dumb, but I know
Mm-hmm.
will take off. And here's the other thing: I'm addicted to succeeding, and
Mm-hmm.
I realize a lot of people are, more than we want to admit. And so there's a part of me that, if I go all in, I would want to see the result of it. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I would be more passionate now to start a new channel, new concept, new emphasis, and grow it from 0 to 100,000 than
Mm-hmm.
I ever would growing Daily Mountain Bike Rider from where it's at today to 1 million. Like I would love
Mm-hmm.
that way more, because it would show I still got it. Like I can still do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless of the, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, it's not like, oh, well, you have 100,000 subscribers and that's why you get the views. And because I think there's a certain amount of people that, feel that way, where it's like, oh, your videos do well just because you have like this many people to watch them already.
Yeah, and I think that's just not proven. I do believe after you hit a certain threshold, YouTube's more likely to recommend your video because you've proven yourself, which
Yeah.
nobody would balk at or be surprised at.
Yeah.
But I just think quality content wins out every time. And
Yeah.
I watched a video of a guy who had 0 viewers and went and ate Costco hot dogs for 7 days straight. Like he
Hmm.
only ate Costco hot dogs. And now he's like doing more content like that, and it's just going off because it's good content and it's stuff people want to watch. And like, that's it. That's all it
This is
takes.
what Josh is watching on YouTube nowadays. Somebody eating hot dogs.
Oh, dude, I love Costco hot dogs, dude. I could eat a Costco hot dog every day for a year and never get tired of them. I
Are
love
you
them.
serious? That
Oh,
much?
dude. I like talking about it right now. I had one 2 days ago. I would go get one right now. I would just love it.
Really?
It's
I
my
don't
strange
know.
addiction.
Every day, man. I
Oh,
like pizza a lot. I could eat a lot of
dude.
pizza.
Dude, you dig One Bite Pizza reviews? Dave
Yeah.
Portnoy? Dude, he
No,
slays. Those videos are gold.
I didn't even know it was a thing. See, I need to look at your feed sometime. Just
Wait,
so.
you don't know One Bite Pizza reviews, Robert?
Never even heard of it. No.
Do you know? Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. Not at all.
Oh my gosh, Robert, One Bite Pizza reviews will change your life. And you
Really?
will come back. You will come back to this moment on April 11th and be like, Josh showed me the best thing. It literally, Dave Portnoy, he's the president of Barstool Sports, had
Okay.
a challenge with his friend years ago. And he said, I think the challenge, I could be wrong, but he was like, man, I could eat pizza every day for lunch. And his friend's like, oh, what? No, I could eat sandwiches. And he's like, F you, man. Every day I will eat pizza for lunch for a month and we'll see who gets tired of it. And he's like, if I'm going to do that, I might as well give reviews. And so he started One Bite Pizza reviews. He has a scale. He has an app now. He like
Yeah.
blows places up like mom and pop shops, millions of followers. And every video, it's just him. He just like stands up. He's like, hey, everybody, I'm here at Josh's pizza place. And let's take a bite. And he opens it up. He's like, okay, here we go. Here's the crust. Takes a bite. It's gold. I'll send you my favorite ones and you'll be like, where has this been my whole life? It's the
Oh,
best.
wow. Well,
Yep.
you got me on that Cartnark guy for a while.
Dude, Cartnark.
That
And
was,
Cartnark was cool for a while. I don't follow it as much anymore.
yeah. I definitely watched it for a while though. That was like I always like to ask that question at the end of the shows, like, hey, what do you like watching on YouTube? Just so I can like hear some new stuff. And in my mind, the day that you told me about Cartnark is like always what's playing when I'm having that conversation out loud. I'm like, man, Josh freaking threw a zinger in there that one day, man. So
Skiddly do whoop whoop whoop. Oh, hey, what's up, lazy bones? Put your cart
yeah.
back. Dude, I love
Oh my
Cartnark.
God. And then it's like you just want to recreate it every time you go to the grocery store or like Walmart. You see somebody like pushing it and not putting it back, and you're like, oh man, I just want to be like whoop whoop whoop.
Oh, dude, I tell people, I literally be like, this isn't where the cart goes. It goes in the cart return. And then people will be like, what? Isn't that the grocery store's employee's job? I'm like, it's your job not to hit your car or mine. So think about that. And then I push their cart away. I take it with me. I have no
Oh my
shame, dude.
God. It sounds like it. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so what do you miss about YouTube?
Dude, that is a gold question. What do I miss? Riding bikes with my friends who I've made through YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
I miss going to the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival and getting wings with you and riding on trails.
Hmm.
I miss going up to Whistler or, Vancouver and knowing Nick from Van Can, Eric from BCPOV, Jordan Boostmaster are all there and stoked to ride. And we all filmed that ride. And we all
Hmm.
know this is going to make gold content. And
Hmm.
that's what I miss, man. And here's the sad part. That doesn't exist anymore. Like, if we all go to Whistler for a normal day, not opening day, and we all pull out our cameras, very few are going to make videos out of it, or they might make some montages, but it's just not the thing that it once was. So that's what I miss, man. And I miss like being on the front end of something with a group of other guys. And I remember you used to always talk about like the invention of mountain biking and the guys, and it's like, man, this is awesome, and we're all in this thing, and this is sick. And
Yeah.
I will always miss that of being with
Yeah.
other like-minded people and just talking about whatever's going on.
Yeah. 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 The community is fun. That's like some of the, in the times that I think about not doing it, that's the things that I think about missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even my last trip to Phoenix, with you and Colorado kid Joe, and going in, hearing you talk all about the waterfall, and it was like, oh, how dumb is that going to be? It's like, I still like those are like some of my favorite memories. It's like
Yeah.
traveling with people I love, meeting new people, meeting people I've connected with, and riding bikes. And that's the biggest thing I miss. The
Yeah.
other thing is instant feedback. Very few areas of your life do you get instant feedback, good or bad, from
Mm-hmm.
views or comments to show you how you're doing. And in our world, that hardly exists.
Yeah. 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 The internet will definitely tell you, tell you what they're thinking. That's for sure. Whether you like it or not.
Oh yeah, dude. And you got to get used to comments and commentary of people who don't get it or do get it,
Yeah.
and they poke soft spots, and that sucks.
Did that bother you? Did people get to you?
If anybody says people don't get to them, then they're lying. It's
You
like they
think?
get to you. Oh yeah, everybody has a comment that gets under their skin. Some people just can't handle it, and there's too many comments that get under their skin.
Hmm.
I can deal with a lot, and there are
Yeah.
comments that still like live rent free in my head that I'm like, there's a lot of truth there, but most of the time I just am like, it is what it is, and we'll move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I am very seldomly does a comment get to me. But I think like I guess it's just my like jaded view of the internet anyway. I'm just like, that's what the internet does. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like,
But it
but
takes a while to get there and actually believe that. And
yeah.
anybody who has created consistently on YouTube, you and I could say, name one comment that stuck rent free with you, and you're like, that one hit a little too close to home, and it wasn't necessarily just someone being a douchebag, but it was somebody who legitimately cut me, and I was like, yeah, there might be some truth there, or I hate that that's true. That's just the
Yeah.
reality of it.
Yeah. I think I'm really good at forgetting shit. So
Dude, you get burned enough times, you get enough scar tissue, it doesn't hurt as
yeah.
much, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess,
Yeah.
I mean, I could think of something like recently that kind of came up, but other than that, like if I try to go any further than that in my mind, I'm like, I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if it's like that or like maybe I'm just not successful enough to have enough people like freaking give me shitty comments, I think I also have like a really twisted sense of humor. So things that people say that is probably supposed to be mean, that I'm like, oh, that was funny as hell. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not getting it that they were actually like trying to be mean to me, I'm like, oh, that was hilarious, you know, and like, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's like when you make content that you think is gonna be gold and someone, like, doesn't like it or, like, gives a critique to it, that's what sucks. It sucks
Yeah.
when you're like, "I really like this," and someone's like, "Oh, this is just like the other person's video," or you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it is kind of crap." Yeah, dang it. You're right, but I do like it, and I think it's good. You know,
Yeah.
that's the funny stuff that's like, "F you, you're an idiot." I'm
Yeah.
like, "I know. Thank you. Thank you for verifying what I've already known."
Right. Yeah. It's like if somebody's like, look at this fat guy, he can't ride. I'm like, and that was a real revelation there, wasn't it?
I can tell you're new here. Welcome.
Yeah.
This guy's got to
Please hit
lose a few
subscribe.
pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, well, you wrote a comment. So, I mean, it at least intrigued you to do something, you know?
Yeah. I think another question that would be good is like, what do I not miss for making YouTube videos?
That actually was what I was about to ask you. So thanks for leading me right into that one.
I really don't miss the constant pressure to innovate and do something new.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, we all have constant pressure in our lives. The grass has got to get mowed, the house has got to get repaired. You got to continually build your relationship with your kids or your significant other.
Yeah.
Work pressures. We all have stuff we have to do. That's like crap. I got to get that done.
Yeah.
And throwing on another thing where when you don't post videos, people are like, "Where are you? What are you doing? This is the same video
Yeah.
you did last time." That additional pressure sucks.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm happy not to have anymore is that additional pressure. And like you may think like having a sponsorship from Tasco and Ari is sick. And I hear that and I go, "Oh man, that's more pressure because
Yeah.
now you gotta do it."
Yeah. It's definitely more pressure, you know? I could relate with when you were like, I mean, it was like kind of the cracks were in the foundation, but when you were like, I don't want to have any more sponsorships. I just want to be able to make whatever video I want to make. And then, you know, I can understand that because then it's you're doing it just because you want to do it, you know. But I think for me, like when I was like in from the outside, it was like, this is Josh, like he's gonna slowly back out of this. You know,
Yeah.
like you could tell that it was just like something was gone, you know, like there was a fire or something that like just wasn't burning like it was before, you know.
Yeah, and I think I realized something interesting and be an interesting conversation. If there was no monetary value at all in making YouTube videos, would you still make videos? And what videos would you make? And not just I'm not asking that to you. Look at YouTube in general. If there was no monetary value at all, but it was just like success would still exist, viewership, the fun and the joy of it.
Hmm.
Um, if you look at the videos I've made in the last like year, which is few and far between, I would still
Hmm.
make those videos.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't care if I made money on them. And that right there, most people can't say. And those are the videos I want to make moving forward.
Yeah. I like um I like creating. I think I don't know if I would post as much, you know what I mean? But I think I would still I think once I learned how to edit videos and like be able to make a story the way that I enjoy now, you know what I mean? Like I really enjoy them. I mean, in lots of my videos, like I'll go back and watch myself, you know, like later on down the road where it's like, oh man, that ride that we did in Downeyville, like I can watch that. I can relive that day.
Yeah.
It's like a moment in time that I captured. You know what I mean? And it's like my life. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
it's not just me talking about the bike industry failing. You know, like it's like, oh, that was like a really like I forgot I said that while I was climbing that hill, or I forgot that, you know, joke that you made at the top of the hill or whatever. And it's like
Yeah.
I really enjoy that aspect. Like I feel like there's gonna be a point in my life where maybe I'm not able to do things anymore. Like I'm old, you know? And it'll be really fun to be able to like go back and watch this crap, you know?
And that is something that is really cool and unique to be able to
Yeah.
document it in a fun way and tell a complete story. That is pretty special. And yeah,
Yeah.
I have like a lot of rides that when I watch them again, I'm like, that was just fun. Like my first time doing Downeyville, you only
Mhm.
ever can do something the first time once, and
Yeah.
usually it's the best. And so to document it and to relive it is like, oh yeah, I remember when I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
My first Whistler trip, I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I did that trail. I probably shouldn't have done that. I was not that good. It's just so good. Which, by the
Yeah.
way, have you still never ridden Whistler?
I'm going this summer though.
When are you going?
I am going to actually be in your neighborhood too.
What? When
Yep.
were you going to tell me?
Probably like the day before, whenever I'm like
Uh,
in the car, like, hey Josh, guess what? I forgot to tell you.
that's
If
pretty
you're
on
not busy
point for our
tomorrow.
relationship.
Huh?
That's it. That's pretty on point for our relationship.
Yeah. I'm not very good at that, like pre-planning stuff, but I'm really great at spur of the moment. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think July. That sounds about right. I think it's like after the 4th of July, somewhere right around there.
Are you coming solo?
No, with a group of people, we're gonna do a little road trip. So there are some people that are flying into Whistler, and then some of us decided to do a road trip on the way up there to like kind of hit a couple of spots. And
Yeah.
your your neighborhood's one of the spots. So
Oh my, nice, dude. Well,
yeah.
am I welcome to come and ride with you? Am I good enough
Oh yeah, of
anymore?
course. But you have to make a video.
Dude, yeah, let's go. If are you just going to be in town for a day in Bellingham?
I think so. I don't know for
Okay.
sure, but I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be like one day.
Well,
So
I
like it'll
will.
be like a day, and then I think we're camping and or something like that. And then yeah. Yeah, it'll be a good time, man. I'll definitely let you know when the date is when I get it figured out.
Well, if you need a guide for the quintessential Bellingham day, Aaron will tell you from MTV Adventures. I'm an excellent host.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like honestly just thinking the other day though, outside of that I never did like make my way up there for the I think I was supposed to buy you dinner or something like that.
You still owe
So
me dinner, Rob.
yeah. So I'm continually looking at flights. One of these days I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna be like, look, dude, this is when it's happening. So
Yeah.
I'll have to come up. I yeah. So maybe after I get a little taste of the goods up there this summer, then it'll be like, now I'm going
Oh, dude,
back.
it's the promised land. It's next level, and you'll quickly see Seth and Brian, because Brian hasn't been back either. They both said the same thing. They're like, we came, rode a few trails, and saw hundreds untouched, and it makes you realize it's pretty amazing what is here. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I'm stoked for you to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll move, right?
If you would, dude, that would be rad. We'd hang
That
out
would be
all the
sick.
time for sure.
There you go. Then I can get you like pumping me full of YouTube video ideas all the time. And yeah.
Dude, my good friend Mike, he makes YouTube videos. It's mediocre. What is it? Middle-aged mediocre mountain biker. That's the
Uh-huh.
title, the name I came up. And he documents our ride all the time. And so if you
Uh-huh.
ever want to watch me ride with Mike in his style, I'm always in his videos.
Right on, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's funny. So you were saying what was the thing you said you didn't miss?
The pressure, man, of always
The
having to make
pressure.
new
Yeah.
content and edit a video. Dude, that pressure of like, oh crap, I got weeks of footage I got to edit.
Yeah.
That's the worst feeling.
Editing is the only thing that like it's like the thing that I hate the most, but it's also the thing that I enjoy. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like climbing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's it's not the fun part. You know what I mean? It's definitely not the fun part,
Yeah.
but for some reason you enjoy it, like you don't really want to tell people all the like loudly that you
Yeah.
like it, but you're like, yeah. That's the thing though. I think for me, I love like capturing the video. I love like the story. I like having that idea, that inspiration that's like really fun, but just to sit down to actually start editing, that's
Yeah.
the part where like I just will procrastinate it or it like I just don't want to start. And it's usually like once I start editing, then it's like, lock me up, man. I'm in here. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because you're in it.
yeah. And that part's fun. I really enjoy that. But it's for some reason, just starting the edit for me is like uber difficult.
Yeah, if I don't feel like the video is worth making, editing is just the worst. If I think the video is worth making, then editing for me is like no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like the process of like capturing it all more than I I start to lose my interest until like the edit's done. So like if I went with the like what you just said, like I would never make a video because as soon as I'm done recording, I'm like, this isn't going to be any good. So like, yeah.
So Robert, you've heard me talk about, you know, what I miss and what I don't miss and what I think about the future of mountain bike YouTube content. What about you, man? Because you're in it and you've been in it and you've had times of, you know, feeling the we'll say less than stoked, but you're pretty stoked right now.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I have my peaks and my valleys with it. You know, there's definitely been times where I was like, came out in the garage and was like, fuck this, man. I'm over it. I ain't doing this anymore. And then then the next day I'm like, what was I talking about yesterday? But I think I just really like the community of like the people, the people that are commenting and subscribing, and like the people that are like watching this live, or like the people that like come up to you and like, you know, are like, hey man, I really like that video or whatever. Like I like that aspect. I like the aspect like what you were talking about of like being part of this like community of creators. Like that's really cool to like have those conversations. And it's weird because it's like it's almost like it's like an extra, like a different life that I'm living. You know what I mean? My YouTube life, and then there's like my real job life and my like real life of like, you know, being a husband or a father or whatever, you know. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just really like the creative aspect of it too. So, but where do I think it's going? I don't think that long form is dead. I think that I think people just have to tell a good story now, you know. And the time of, who knows, it'll probably come back. Everything's cyclic, but like the time of just like throwing on a GoPro for a run and then coming back and like snip all the boring stuff out, and then boom, it's a video, and it's like, you know, easy views. Like those days are over. Like, like I feel like there's room for it in shorts to like make some kind of like comeback, you know, if shorts were maybe just a little bit longer. And I feel like there's something that's like maybe some kind of like camera gear or something like that needs to come out to like really be able to capture the moment a little bit better. But I think like that would be rad. Like, oh man, like maybe 60 seconds is enough time. In my mind, I'm like, maybe like 90 seconds or something like that. But like to like really show the really fun spots of a trail or a ride, just enough to like get people stoked. You know what I mean? But man, I feel like to do it really successfully now, you'd have to spend all day long filming to get like these like perfect shots for a 60-second short to make this look fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the part about mountain biking, is to document well, setting up shots and the amount of physical energy and time. Have you ever done geocaching?
Yes. Yeah. Like just a handful of times, but yes.
There's a guy who just documents his geocaching, and he just holds a GoPro. And he's like, all right, here's the next place that I have to find it. And like, he can tell the whole story just holding a video camera. You can't do that mountain biking. Like, it's just not, it's not engaging because you have to see it from a different angle. And there's a lot of things that you can document well with one camera, static camera. But for mountain biking, it's one of those unique things. It's like snowboarding. Snowboarding's not big on YouTube. There aren't that many snowboarding creators because it's really hard to document well. And it's never taken off and gone, you know, gangbusters. And I think certain action sports are like that. Surfing How many surfing YouTubers do you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. And you'll watch a cool clip of somebody surfing, but to document it day in and day out is really hard to do. And what it causes is small audiences who do the sport or activity you do that are engaged. But to the average person, it's not something that they can easily document, easily watch, and connect those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the
Now
guys
I'm
in the
getting you to
comment.
think. The
Yeah.
wheels are spinning.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then I read this comment too here that popped up. It said, "We enjoy Biker, not Robert's ability to ride or edit."
And you know what, man? That is why you have a loyal following, and a lot of people, no matter what they make, will continue to. And I have a loyal following that if I start making content like I used to way back in the day, would love it.
Mhm.
And it wouldn't be what it maybe could have been at one point in time, but it would still be something pretty special. And that's what's
Mhm.
cool. Again, if you do it because you love it, there is a special following and audience there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like there I was talking to you about like, I don't think the mountain bike YouTube stuff is dead, but I don't know if like is there a time that maybe I get to the same place as you where I'm just like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. I think some of it too is like maybe feeling like, okay, I succeeded at that enough. Like I feel like I got, like the pat on the back that I needed or whatever it was. Like for you, maybe it was, like getting the sponsorship and then realizing like, all right, well, I got 100,000 subscribers and I got a sponsorship. I proved I can do it. Now I'm good. Like was that a thing for
That's it.
you?
That's
Yeah.
it. 100%. I've shown
Yeah.
I can grow from 0 to something. I have shown I can get over 100,000 subscribers. I can make my full-time salary off YouTube. Like check that box. I can
Yeah.
make a viral video. I can still come out of nowhere from left field and make a banger thumbnail and title and get people to click it 200,000 times. Like it's like I've done all that. I don't need to do it anymore. And
Yeah.
I've realized my personality, I get it from my dad, is like I love collecting things that other people think are cool. I wish that wasn't the case, but it's just the reality. And when I set my sights on something, like I wish I could do that. I want to be able to do it. And once I do, I'm like, cool, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't have a storage unit. I don't keep old things. If I don't use it, a picture or just the memory is enough for me, and then I can move on.
Yeah.
And YouTube is that a bit, but there's something there about YouTube and content creation that is pretty special and speaks to my soul. And you get that because you feel it too.
Yeah.
So that's where it's hard to. I understand you're like, will there be one day? There will be. Eventually, everybody who's making videos one day will not be making videos because
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
die. But
Right.
something else will happen before then. But it will
Right.
happen.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, like to think about, to kind of play that little game with yourself. Right now, I don't really have any reason to stop. You know what I mean? But I could see it getting to a point where I'm just like, because it's not like realistically, if I was doing this for money, I should have quit a long time ago. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
obviously there's something else that's driving me. And I think realistically, it's like what I said earlier, it's the community. And I just really like creating. And I don't know if like I could see myself stopping to do like the biker stuff, but I couldn't see myself never making another video.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like I really enjoy that like that way that you look at things when you're like thinking about it, like creating a video.
Well, and here's the thing, like my wife and I are going on a cruise in like a week. I'm stoked about it. And
Yeah.
I love doing research on cruises and stuff. And I'm like, man, there's so much booty garbage content on cruises. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, if I just pulled up my iPhone, brought my mic, I could make a killer video that would help document it and be helpful. And there is something about being able to tell a story that is
Yeah.
pretty cool that a lot of people don't have or haven't refined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's something that people will learn, or do you think they just have that? You
I
have to
think
have
both.
something. Yeah.
Can somebody learn to qualify for the Barkley, not the Barkley, the what's the biggest Boston Marathon? Can you teach somebody to qualify for the Boston? Yeah, but you have to have a certain level of fitness and mentality to do it. Can anybody qualify for the Boston? No. Can 70% of people who set out to do it do it? No. Like it takes a high level of skill. And so I do feel like storytelling in a way that engages people through a medium of YouTube video, I do think you have to have it, and you can tell when someone has it and you can tell when they don't. And that's why, Robert and I are part of a mountain bike YouTube Slack group. I should probably check that. But there will be people who are up and coming, and we can all tell that person's gonna go off. Sebastian, former mountain bike rider, makes a handful of shorts, and instantly I'm like, yeah, this guy's gonna go places if he keeps at it, because some people just have that bent.
Yeah. I think there's something about being super genuine too. Like I feel like if you're a person that's on YouTube, maybe like for the wrong reasons, like the internet will sniff it out and be like, we're not watching this guy.
You can grow to a point and you can push past that point, but until, like, look at Logan Paul. Like, Logan Paul absolutely crumbled and then started being more authentic and like came back. And you have to switch. And people who aren't authentic, they won't last long. They'll burn out. And there's certain mountain bike YouTubers that I'm not going to name names, that Robert and I have talked about, that I just know you're not going to last. And if the money doesn't show up, you're out quickly. And if there wasn't money, they would be the first ones to dip. But when you just love it and love what you do, it shows.
Yeah. I think you can't like edit out the fact that you're not a good person. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, right. Yeah. You can put on like a facade, but I think at the end of the day, like that's why a lot of people, enjoy the people that they follow, on at least in the mountain bike space I can speak to, is like, because the people are really genuine. You know what I mean? Like they're not like some dick, that's just
like, I cover up pretty well, man. People don't know the real me, so
right. Yeah, definitely. The whole pastor thing, that's like a facade. You're really like a drug dealer.
It's a good cover. You got to give me that, right? I can go over the border a lot. So
right.
But that's like my biggest compliment, and I know you've received it too. The coolest thing is when you meet somebody and they become your friend, or you see them more often, and they introduce you to somebody else. And they're like, oh, I watch your YouTube videos, and you can kind of see, they're like, oh man, like I didn't know if I would meet you. And someone goes, dude, don't worry. Josh is exactly the same person in his videos as he is in real life. And it is so cool. Like, there is no facade and there's no flip of a switch. And you have that too. And like, to me, that is the coolest compliment.
Yeah. No, that's definitely, I think the ones that stand out to me are like where people have told me that like I inspired them to like do X or Y or whatever, like I never really, when I started my channel, there was zero thought of me like inspiring anybody.
Yeah.
Like I never even like thought of that would be like something that I could potentially be doing. You know what I mean? And
you inspired me, man.
Yeah. That's
you did.
Say that. How did I inspire you?
Dude, weight loss. Remember the first weight loss challenge, dude? You inspired me so much to like make huge changes. And I dropped 50 pounds, dude. And that was all thanks to you.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you can make a video and it like changes people's lives like that. And I think that's the thing that like is most addicting, at least to me, is that like that aspect is like my first email address back whenever like the internet was first becoming a thing. I'm like, somebody showed me Hotmail or something like that, and I made an email address, and it was Smear was the name.
Smear. I was gonna say Streak, but I knew it was something with an S, and it was
and it was because like the joke was like, that's all I'm gonna leave in the history book is just like a little smear, and I think so that like the reason I say that is because that must be like part of why it like is so inspiring to me about like that aspect of YouTube I was just talking about, is like that I'm actually like changing people's lives. That's crazy to think. You know what I mean? Like this like
Yeah.
old, overweight guy that doesn't ride very well, like changing people's lives, making fucking videos about mountain bikes. That's the weirdest thing. Or making videos about losing weight or whatever it was, like,
Yeah.
there's other people out there that are like, yeah, I didn't even like, there's people that watch our content, like mountain bike content, that don't even mountain bike. And then they're like, they watch it for a while and then they're like, I went out and bought a bike, and it's like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Like that's crazy,
Dude,
yeah.
I think we all want to have an impact on the
Yeah.
world. Like, I think that, not to preach, but I think there's something in our wiring that we want to have a positive impact on those around us. And there's a
Yeah.
reason it feels so fulfilling when you see it.
Yeah. You don't get that from doing IT,
No,
so
and you don't get that from making stupid videos about e-bikes and the crashing bike market. Like, I haven't changed anybody's life. People are just like, "Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, I knew it was burning." Right? It's like, yeah. And I'm
yeah.
like, "Thanks.
I
I'll be
don't
here
know.
all day. See you later."
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes I've thought a few times about like doing another channel that was just about random shit, and I could see myself getting to a point where I'm like over it with biker, let's just say, right? But then that's what I would do, is just make videos about random shit. Like,
Dude, I was hanging out with my nephews. I have 4 nephews, 15 to 9.
mhm.
And they like know that I did YouTube and they think it's like the coolest thing and they know I
Right,
don't
right.
anymore. And I was like, I talked to my 11-year-old nephew and I was like, Jackson, if I'm ever going to make another YouTube channel, I'm probably going to call it Crap My Nephew Should See, and just do funny things or talk about like life things that like stuff you should watch and think are cool. And he's
Yeah.
like, dude, that would be sick. That would be awesome. And, and just make it for them, but make it public. And so if
Yeah.
people like it, they like it. And if they don't, they don't. And, and not just be like, hey, Easton, this is for you, buddy. But just being like, this is stuff I wish my uncle taught me. And then like
Yeah.
go show people. You're like, that's a
Yeah.
good idea. See, there you go.
Yeah. There you go. There's another one. Somebody's out there right now making the channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's just like, I think it's like I see these stories that I want to tell, and it's kind of like what you just said about the cruise ship, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this would be fun. I don't want to be the cruise ship channel, but I
Oh,
want to
I
make this
do.
one
I
video,
do so
like,
bad.
yeah. Like a while ago, I learned how to use to do a Rubik's Cube. And it's one of those things where it's like, out of the videos that I watched, I'm like, I could make one that pulls them all together and is actually better than like, or at least would be what I would want to see. You know what I mean?
I solved a Rubik's Cube, dude. It was really hard. I'm showing
Hey, you got the
everybody
one by one.
this is called a 1x1. It's just a cube, and I solved it. There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, I learned Rubik's when I was like in 7th grade. Love them, dude. Love them.
How fast do you do it?
I could still do it in under like 90 seconds, but when I
Uh-huh.
was really fast, it was like 50 or 45. I was never that good, but good enough.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah, I got it down to like, I think my fastest time right now is like 30 seconds.
That's impressive, dude. A 30-second break. That's impressive.
Yeah. But and I can pretty consistently be under a minute, but I'm at a point right now where if I want to get any faster, I really have to learn a bunch of different algorithms that I don't know right now.
Yeah. Good
And
luck, dude.
the idea of like when you do that, like it takes like, it's commitment. It's like learning how to like ride a bike. You know what I mean? Like you really have to like, okay, memorize all these fucking algorithms. And I just don't know if I want to put that work into it. But I really like doing the Rubik's Cube. So
Yeah. Well,
I
dude,
like that it's
oh, go ahead.
tactile, you know? What were you
Yeah.
gonna
Oh,
say?
yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. And I was gonna say, like, you're the type of guy that you'll keep learning as time goes on, and
Yeah.
that you have a passion for that, and with your YouTube channel too. Like, I realize, definitely a bit maybe negative because I'm on a different side of my view of YouTube, but like, I love YouTube content and I love real people and not produce stuff, and you do that really well. And I would encourage you, keep at it, man. And
Yeah.
if mountain biking doesn't feel like the sweet spot, you will find the sweet spot because you have the
Yeah.
personality to find it.
I think it's just like a matter of like, to me, it's just like a matter of learning, and
Yeah.
sometimes I think to myself, like, is like everything that I've done on the biker channel, like, just getting me ready for whatever it is that I'm going to do something else, or maybe it is the biker channel. You know what I mean? Maybe I finally get to a point where I'm like, I don't know. I don't really care, actually, though. Like, for a long time, I would go back and forth on, like, man, I want to be like super successful, and I want to like quit my job and just make YouTube videos. And then sometimes I would be like, I don't know if I want to do that. Sounds like a lot of pressure, and then like, um, so I would kind of like be back and forth on it, and I think somewhere, I don't know where it happened specifically, but somewhere along the line, I was just like, you know what? I'm okay with just making the videos that I like making. And I mean, I'm locally popular, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's good enough. Like, I
That's
don't,
it,
you know what I
dude.
mean? Yeah, it's rad. It's like I go out to the trail, always bump into somebody that's, you know, seen my content or something like that. And that's fun. And like, it's cool to like get deals on stuff and not have to spend as much money on bike parts as I would. But I mean, if I didn't have the channel, I would still be buying all the same shit anyway. You know what I mean?
Ain't that
Maybe
the
I
truth,
wouldn't get
man?
a new bike as often. You know what I mean? But
I'm so
otherwise,
glad I've reached it, man. I'm over the hump now. I don't buy stuff anymore with mountain
yeah,
biking. I found what I like. I know what I like. I do not need to try anything new. I've
nothing
got it.
else.
I've had the same bike for a year and a half, which is a record, a literal record for me, which is amazing.
What are you riding?
I can't say the brand because I don't want them to have any more promotion than they already do because they're a big pile of S, if you know what I mean. And it's a stump jumper. That's what I'm riding.
Oh. But you're into it though. You really like it.
No, it's just a good bike. They're all the same, man. They're all good now. That's the
Yeah,
problem. I had a Sentinel. I've had a stump jumper. I've had an Evil. I would ride a Fazari. I would ride a Trek. They're all the same. They're all good now. There's not
yeah,
very much differences anymore. And anybody who says
yeah,
there are is just lying to you. They're all good.
yeah.
People don't make terrible bikes, so that's why I literally have all the logos covered up with just black vinyl, and I'm gonna
Oh, nice.
start doing that on all my bikes because I'm like, just to make a point, like it doesn't matter, they're all good.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
So if you were to buy a new bike tomorrow, what bike would you buy?
the freaking cheapest one I could find on Pink Bike. That's a good deal, and that's how I got my Specialized stump jumper. I got the
Really?
frame for $1,000 brand new with a Float X, and I was like sick, and I built it up on the cheap, and it rips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much the stump? I don't know their models very well. That's like a shorter travel bike.
Well, it's a 150, 160.
151. Oh, okay. So it's a trail bike, basically. Yeah.
It
Right on.
is literally, no, it's not a trail bike. It is literally the best do it all good bike. And there's a
Hmm.
reason it's the number one bike you will see on any trail system in America because
Hmm.
it is just that vanilla. It's like a Toyota Corolla or a Camry. It's like you
Yeah.
just can't go wrong with it. And this day and age, I have like 5 friends and they all have a stump jumper. And the reason isn't this is the best bike I've ever ridden. It's like
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong. I got nothing to complain about.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
rode one of those once back in the day. It was a good bike. I feel like there's a reason that Specialized like the biggest company, Like you don't get
They've
to
done
be
a
the you don't
Oh, I was gonna say they're consistent. It's like Toyota.
yeah,
They've been consistently good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not like shooting any zingers out there that are like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. Because obviously if they weren't like making good bikes, they wouldn't be selling the most bikes. It's not like they have some amazing marketing that's just like freaking everybody like
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But hey, you know what? We'll see. We'll see how this bike goes. We'll see how long I ride it. And really in wrapping up, we'll see when I come back. They always come back to making YouTube videos. And when I come back and make a resurgence and blow up on the internet, you can have me back on and I'll look down on you because you're not, I'm so successful. But
yeah,
nah, I'm just kidding, dude.
yeah,
I know I'll keep doing at least some videos about biking. Who knows what, but yeah, man, I love the sport, and I still love biking, and I still enjoy gear and stuff, even though I act like I'm better than that now. I'm not. It's still good.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, man, I really appreciate you sitting down and hanging out and catching up, dude. It was really fun. It was a good time. It's definitely.
It was awesome. I miss you, man, and I'm stoked to ride with you this summer. And if you come up when I'm gone, I'm going to be so mad at you.
I will definitely. If for some reason you're not there, I'm not joking. I still will definitely make that trip up there and get you that dinner. So maybe it won't happen this summer, but it'll definitely happen because man of my word, just may take a while. Well, thanks again, dude. I really appreciate you. Oh, so what's your favorite YouTube channel that you're watching right now? Is it the One Bite guy?
I mean, One Bite Pizza Reviews is pretty stinking gold and will change your life. So I'm so happy to introduce you, and you'll be like, dang it, he did it again. Besides that, man, I don't know. I watch cruise content. I like cruising, man. That's my vacation of choice right now. Yeah.
Right on, dude. That's awesome, dude. Well, hey, thanks again. Appreciate it. All of you guys, go over there and subscribe to Daly's YouTube channel. The links and show more. He just needs, hit 1 million, maybe he'll come back. So anyways, thanks to all you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. If you want something for free, check this out. It only takes a bike to be a biker. Get out and be one.